and injury lawyers. The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Voisin.
And good evening. This is the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Cade Voisin, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. Special guest to my right is the LHSAA Executive Director, Mr. Eddie Baton, joining us tonight. Mr. Baton, thanks so much for coming in studio with us.
And thank you for inviting me, and we appreciate what you all do for high school sports. We really do.
A lot of great high school football games tonight, and I say that with earnest. I mean, here in Baton Rouge, we had some of the powerhouses of John Curtis, West Monroe, coming into town. We had a lot of good football games, and statewide, I think we've had a lot of competitive, real close football games. One's still going on right now. There's a couple, but one we've been keeping an eye on with Baton Rouge interest is Madison Prep and Donaldsonville. Madison Prep leading that contest 34-18, just about 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter there. But we've seen a lot of competitive football games, Coach Black and Coach Roy, and I think out of all the things we talked about kind of leading up on the radio-only portion of the show, there's a lot of negative, but throughout the year, this has been a heck of a week, and it's great for the kids to have this, great for the sport, great for our state to have a nice competitive weekend like this.
They normally wouldn't play. They probably won't ever play at this time of year again unless they're into the state championship. So you got to appreciate it. You got to enjoy it. And,
football weather compared to last week.
It's It's heartbreaking as a coach and as a parent at this particular time because of that seniors season's coming to an end.
A lot of them are.
It's tough. It's really tough. But, hey, if high school football did its job like it's supposed to, they're going to be fine.
That's right. That's right.
Speaking of doing their job, I think we've heard so much when we hear these letters, we cringe, CDC. But there was positive news concerning the CDC this week when it comes to time spent in quarantine if you've been in close contact with someone who's tested positive for the novel coronavirus, COVID-19. So it was 14 days, and now we're looking at a 7 to 10 day window, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No symptoms and a negative test.
Right. And my thought is, certainly we're looking at football, but I'll bring in Mr. Baton. I think one of my biggest concerns sports-wise with COVID-19 was going to be basketball, and I want to think that this was going to be helpful as we get into basketball season because that's a sport where you're seeing a lot more close contact.
It is, and I think that the information that came out of CDC, obviously the Louisiana Department of Health is looking at that, State Department of Ed, LHSA is not going to get ahead of them. We're going to wait and see what they do and how they do it, and we'll be in lockstep with them. But in basketball already, we've had a lot of cancellations, and I want the listeners to know and viewers as well that a lot of the student athletes that aren't getting to participate aren't the positive tests as much as is the contact trace. And I think that's an important piece to understand. The athletes are missing some contests, but much more for contact tracing than actual test positives, if you will, in those kind of cases.
Something you just said, now I want you to clarify because it is called on now a lot. You talked about the people that you go hand in hand with, and everybody's like, well, the government, they're different than the LHSAA. Well, in certain instances, but you don't want to cut off your nose to spite your face.
And the individuals with whom they oversee, meaning Department of Education and Bessie, and eventually all the way to the governor's office, are the school systems. And yes, we are a private organization, but our clients, our students, everybody, our precious commodities are those athletes that are in all those schools. And I think throughout this whole virus since March, all the acronyms, the state school superintendents and Bessie and LDOE and LDHS and LHSAA and everybody has really pulled together and gone the same direction and stayed in our own lanes, gone the same direction. And throughout the process, I think it's been a positive. We've had to display some patience when others were anxious. And I think that at the end of the day, we're in a good spot right now.
I really thought that the LHSA football playoffs had the power to cure COVID because we went from 10 forfeits last week to only one. And, up until yesterday, I thought football playoff secured it, but it reared its ugly head a little
I've had
bit.
I've had a few emails in that same vein,
Right.
wondering if the virus was that smart to just attack,
Right.
early on
But-
attack the bottom of the bracket, and then after that it kind of went away.
You know, one thing I did notice, though, and I didn't realize it until after last week, and we say that jokingly,
We do.
but last week teams had some issues with the COVID that still played. You take St. Paul's and Jesuit, they backed their game up to Sunday. Jesuit allowed it, St. Paul's to back it up. St. Paul's did not practice until Saturday. Thibodeau played John Ehret as a 31 playing a number 2 seed last week, and John Ehret scored in the last seconds to win. Thibodeau played without their quarterback, who's an all-district player for 2 years in a row, Luke Alleman down there. So teams have been battling it. They've just been getting enough to play. So it's still out there.
And let me interject and say that truly up to this point, that we're even here, number one. But we
Right.
weren't here if it wasn't for the athletes, the coaches, sports medicine personnel, the regional physicians, all of those individuals. And we kid a moment ago about how the virus, now that we get deeper into the playoffs, they've learned how to work with it. They've learned how to not only quarantine, but also how to keep the athletes in a position where they're not going to be susceptible to contact. And they've found a way to do it. And hats off to all of our schools, including, let's not forget, this is an education-based association. So what about all the students in school and classes and the teachers and everybody? You know, kudos to everybody to get us to where we are tonight.
And
In all of our fall sports, and then tonight is incredible.
You're seeing teams also take extra initiatives where you went earlier in the year. They were letting regular people on the sidelines. You see it now. Catholic High is a prime example. They send out basically a media request where you have to request to be on their sideline. So the teams are taking more of initiative at this point of the season than they were earlier. And like you said,
and more at stake now.
That's
I mean,
right.
It's
right.
We're getting close to the Classic. So yes, it is.
Some other news as it comes to high school sports, one on the negative side, but we'll end before we go to break on something positive. So I'll start with this. Coach Black, I saw you share it on the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Facebook page. That's where I first became aware of the story in southeast Texas. And I'll have Danny come to my surface here. We'll play this video. But we talked earlier in the year, I think right before, the week before or so, we started the scoreboard show here in studio back where we were on location at Walk-Ons. And we were talking about officials. And we were talking about the struggles that they face and the difficulties it is for that job. And you see a situation like this and you just scratch your head at it's an isolated situation in this case. I don't think we see things this extreme all the time, but it makes you wonder. It makes you feel for those who are wearing the black and white stripes.
Well, guys like Lee Sanders, who is over the officials, they're trying to gain momentum and bring guys into the officiating arena, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, and they turn and they look and they see something like this. I mean, it really makes you question if you want to be out there because he's not getting a whole lot. And, it's unfortunate, but, there's no room for it. And I think that whether it's basketball, baseball, these kids shouldn't be allowed whatsoever to have any discussion with officials.
So this is Edinburgh High in southeast Texas. And young man was flagged for a late hit, and then it was unsportsmanlike conduct, ejected. He comes back onto the field and basically just knocks out the referee. I didn't see the hit on the quarterback, so I can't comment on that. But there's still no excuse for what the young man did. There's no other way to describe it. Bad call, good call, whatever. That's just not something that can happen.
Well, guys,
and it's criminal.
I do think that they've been very harsh today to the school and so forth. I don't think that they're playing around with this. And from an executive director's spot, you can't, right?
The team, they dropped out of the playoffs.
Did they drop out or get kicked out?
No, their administration pulled them out.
Yeah, the school district or the county, the parish, they removed them themselves. And I truly believe that there was some dialogue probably between the UIL and the school administration and superintendent, whoever, about either you do it or we will. And I think that's probably what it came down to. But it's a tough call, deserving, if you will. But the individual's since been charged, and criminally, we have the same type of statute in our state as well as other states around the United States. So It's unfortunate, and we're glad that those incidents are far and few between.
I don't think people understand the extent of what happens if you're short on officials. If you don't have them, you told me like in 2016 when you redid the contract, you're like, if we don't have officials, we can't play. They're just as important.
And I think that right now our numbers are okay. Lee would be better to talk to that. As you mentioned, Mr. Sanders earlier, who oversees our officials. But at the end of the day, the official pool is getting lighter. But during COVID, it's allowed us to do the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and in some case Sunday. So we've been able to spread that around and with the shortage, and it's worked out okay. And Lee and all the assignment secretaries now done an incredible job with that.
I got a text. My baby girl is watching the show and saying, "Hi, Daddy," as she sees me on the YouTube channel. So hi.
Lord kiss.
I will.
Oh, come on, Cade.
I want to get to this story, though. Good news. Now, so Todd, I'll have to let you set this up. Alabama high school football.
7-8 champiompips.
Yeah.
Something on a better note.
Yeah. So if you're this one team,
right.
So it's we'll take you through. It's less than a minute. It's Auburn High School versus Thompson High School. Thompson High School is ranked like 6th in the country. They're down by 9, and Auburn has the ball. So they're just kneeling on it. The coach here decides to punt. It gets blocked. You see the time winding down, 20 seconds. They're still going to be down. They kick the extra points, 28-26. And then, I'm going to pause it here just for a second because what's going to be interesting is how they align to this onside kick in a second. But, guys, we see people a lot of times go for it in that situation just so this doesn't happen. A punt return or a block punt. So extra point is good. This is a 7-8 state championship.
Is that the highest classification?
Yep. Here we go. So you see up top, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the kicking team. You've got 2 on the other team, on the other side. And there he goes. And you know what's going to end up happening. He's like, I don't know why he's mad. He ought to be mad at himself. Yeah. But, actually, they have a pass interference. They have this, and they're going to have another pass interference, and then it's going to set them up for a field goal.
And you old coaches in the room, how many times the special teams end up being something that makes a decision on or makes that determination of the outcome of that game? It's incredible.
Here you go.
How long was the field goal, Coach?
40 yards. He was 4 for 4.
Nails it.
Right down. Well,
and
not by much.
Yeah.
No, and they show Thompson, that team right there, they're crying. They'd thrown in the towel. And you come back. But that's high school football,
It is.
That's one of the great stories.
Quit because a couple years before the year we won the state championship at Redemptorist, we were down 20-0 with like 3-something left in the game
against Northeast,
and come back and won 21-20, and went on. That was in the second round. Went on to win the state championship. But you just never know. If there's still time on the clock, you keep playing.
I just think it's so important. That's why high school sports it's just so important at all levels because, you feel for the one team, but it's just moments are made like tonight all over Louisiana. Great games. And
there's lessons learned in the loss as well. Life lessons learned in battling back.
You learn you don't sleep for about 3 weeks is what you learn.
True. Todd, boys from Neville did pull it out, 53-14, 53-34 over Westgate.
They got Leesville. That's a rematch.
No, Minden won in overtime over Leesville.
Wow.
We will take a break. We'll get caught up on all the scores from the select side and non-select side. All the brackets we'll review as soon as we get back here on this playoff round 2 edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Cox Sports Television.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
The Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Class 5A Playoff Bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbot.
Acadiana 42, East Ascension 14, Mandeville 31, Lafayette 8, Destrehan 20, Dutchtown 10, Ruston over Ponchatoula 42-26, Zachary 34, New Iberia 7, Alexandria 38, Houghton 6, West Monroe 27, Central 7, and East St. John 19, John Ehret 17.
Class 4A Playoff Bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Carencro defeats DeRitter 42-7. Plaquemine over Huntington 42-14. Mendon defeats Leesville 21-14. Neville 53, Westgate 34. Tioga 27, North DeSoto 20. Eunice 35, Bell Chase 0. Edna Carr 70, Estruma 19.
Class 3A playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Jennings 50, Lutcher 49, Madison Prep 41, Donaldsonville 18, St. James 28-7 winner over Sterlington, Church Point 22, Bruley 0, St. Martinville 35, Green Oaks 20, and Union Parish 53, Booker T. Washington and New Orleans 21.
Class 2A playoff bracket, brightened by Musco Lighting.
Amite defeats Red River 33-7. St. Helena 14, Bunkie 7. Lauraville over Rose Pine 41-18. Kinder 28, Avoyles 22. Port Allen defeats Faraday 22-20. And Mangum 33, Kentwood 27.
Class 1A playoff bracket, backed by GMFS Mortgage.
Oak Grove 55, East Beauregard 6. Logansport defeats West St. John 22-8. Homer shuts out Block 42-0. White Castle 26, LaSalle 12. Grand Lake over Delhi 36-6. Centerville in overtime beats Oberlin 42-40. Haynesville blanks Basile 18-0. And East Iberville 41, Slaughter Charter 22.
The Select Division I playoff bracket, brightened by Musco Lighting.
Brother Martin over Jesuit 36-34. Catholic of Baton Rouge 42, Rummel 35. C.E. Bird 31, St. Aug 14. John Curtis 34, Scotlandville 14.
The Select Division II playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
De La Salle 28, Turlings Catholic 17. Edie White 16, Archbishop Hannon 13. University Lab 43, Vanderbilt Catholic 14. And St. Thomas More 35, Parkview 0.
The Select Division III playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbot.
Isidore Newman 14, Catholic New Iberia 7. Lafayette Christian 14, Episcopal 12. Notre Dame 43, Ascension Episcopal 14. And St. Charles Catholic 31, Dunham 7.
The Select Division IV playoff bracket, backed by GMFS Mortgage.
Calvary Baptist 48, Catholic Point Capee 16. Southern Lab defeats Cedar Creek 26-22. Washita Christian 34, Country Day 14. And Vermilion Catholic 33, Riverside 20.
Thanks so much to Skip, to Charlie, Will, Dustin, everyone getting scores behind the scenes for us tonight. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Our radio audience at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and those watching on CST as well as the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. We jump on the GMFS Mortgage Hotline, and we are joined by a victorious head coach, John Craig Arsenault from Church Point. Coach, congratulations on the win. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on.
Coach Arsenault, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be the first time that Church Point has ever made it to the quarterfinals. What does this mean to the community?
Well, it's actually going to be the second time. We beat Donaldsonville in 2013, so we're 2-0 on River Road in the second round. Get to the quarterfinals. It's going to be huge for the community. It's huge for these kids. Everything they've been through with 2020. To only be the second group of kids to get to the quarterfinals. With the chance to try to see if they can put a great game together next week and advance to the semifinals.
One other thing, too, is if I'm looking at all this correctly, you don't have a blemish on the right side, right? You're undefeated?
Right, correct. We are undefeated. We're 7-0 right now.
So, I mean, that's got to be big as well. And considering you came back with, if I got this right, unlike with Jimmy, you came back with one starter, but your quarterback, Dylan Stelly, he got a little bit of playing time, but you get him back this year. And it's just been a big – everything coming together at the right time for you.
No doubt. We only had one returning starter on offense. We knew we had a chance to be really good on defense. We started 7 sophomores last year. We had a bunch of kids coming back. But when you talk about Dylan Stelly, what a warrior. That kid played every snap tonight on both sides of the football and punted. You know, you don't see kids willing to do those things anymore. I mean, what an absolute warrior. You know, he had a big run for a first down late in the game to keep the clock moving, and then he scored with about a minute and a half left to ice the game away. But, we pieced together an offensive line this year. Being a wing T school, we're going to run the football, and that's what we're going to do. And those kids have accepted the challenge week in and week out, and we're a little bit undersized, but we're finding a way to get it done.
Coach, this is Eddie with the LHSAA. Congratulations to you and, of course, Mr. Bellard, our principal, who also sits on our executive committee. And that was a battle of EC members tonight. We had Walt Lemoyne, principal at Bruley, he was on our executive committee as well. So, again, congratulations to you, and please give my best to Mr. Bellard.
I definitely will. It was an eventful week with Walt and Lee going back and forth.
Okay.
Coach, before we let you go, defensively coming into tonight, you mentioned those guys being young last year and being a year older now. They're only allowing 12.7 a game. Mention some of those guys who's playing well for you.
Well, it all starts with our nose guard, Tony Gibson. Tony's 6 foot, 300 pounds. He can make plays. He's a 2-time state powerlifting champ. He's a 2-time state wrestling runner-up. He's a kid who runs sub-5 in the 40. So it all starts with him drawing the double team. And then Dylan was the MVP of our district on defense last year, and he's able to play linebacker and makes plays. And then we got Jamarian Citizen and Javian Gibson, who are the other 2 down techs who really get after people. And then we got Ethan Castile, who plays safety on the back end for us, who's been a 3-year starter and does a tremendous job making all the calls for us.
Coach, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want Tony Gibson's grocery bill.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think we just gave him 3 burgers for the ride.
Attaboy. Hey, you keep him excited. That's the way to go, man. Hey, we're real proud of you guys over there, man. And I know we've been wanting to get you on the show, and tonight was a perfect time, and your team deserves it. You deserve it. And
they will get to let everyone know they will be hosting the defending state champ St. James next week at Church Point.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk about our program in you guys' area. And, man, we're just going to try to find a way to get it done next week.
Hey, was JB a good correspondent for us tonight? J-Bo?
Well, he was a great correspondent, man. Y'all need, if y'all can, y'all need to get that guy a raise.
Okay, we'll do that.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it. Best of luck next week.
All right. Thank y'all for having me on.
So the bottom half of that bracket, at least the part we're looking at here, Church Point, the 4 seed, hosting 5th seed St. James. On the up top, Madison Prep is going to be taking on Jennings, and Jennings had a heck of a ball game tonight against Lhsaa.
Yeah, let's talk about that one for a second. Jennings trailing late in the ball game. They score on a hook and ladder with 48 seconds left against Lhsaa, go for 2, and get it and win 50-49. That's got to be a heartbreaker for Coach Jenkins, man. And we talked about it last week. We had Coach Jenkins on.
And you did. You thought it was going to be very competitive and had a good shot. Yep.
But hats off to Jennings also and Rusty Phelps, their coach. They have been down multiple times this year, and they were again tonight by 14 points or more. And they just keep coming back. And then all of a sudden you look at the scoreboard and you said, when were they down? And they've done it time and time again this year. So, man, that's a heartbreaker to lose.
Tough to score 49 and lose.
Yes.
In any game.
Been there, done that. Yeah. Remember?
Or
was it 59?
Yeah. Well, that was in the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure was.
But, when you have a team returning, and I know we got to go, you have a team returning like Jennings, they want to get back there. And they want to win.
And they were a year ahead of schedule being there last year. They were a young team. They got everybody back.
This is the round 2 edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. More scores and more coaches, more analysis. Coming up next here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Cox Sports Television.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Louisville for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Lhsaa a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 19...
The Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Class 5A Playoff Bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbot.
Acadiana defeats East Ascension 42-14. Mandeville over Lafayette 31-8. Destrehan defeats Dutchtown 20-10. Ruston a 42-26 winner over Ponchatoula. Zachary defeats New Iberia 34-7. Alexandria 38-6 winner over Houghton. West Monroe defeats Central 27-7. East St. John 19. John Ehret 17.
Class 4A playoff bracket, pumped by peak performance.
Carencrow over DeRitter, 42-7. Plaquemine, 42. Huntington, 14. Minden, 21-14 winner over Leesville. Neville, 53. Westgate, 34. Tioga, 27-20 winner over North DeSoto. Eunice shuts out Belle Chase, 35-0. And Edna Carr, 70. Ostroma, 19.
Class 3A playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
In a wild one, Jennings beats Lutcher 50-49. Madison Prep 41. Donaldsonville 18. St. James over Sterlington 28-7. Church Point shuts out Bruley 22-0. St. Martinville 35. Green Oaks 20. And Union Parish 53. Booker T. Washington and New Orleans 21.
Class 2A playoff bracket, brightened by Musco Lighting.
Manny over South Plaquemine. Amite defeats Red River 33-7. General Trask in double overtime defeats North Caddo 56-54. St. Helena 14, Bunkie 7. Floraville 41-18 winner over Rose Pine. Kinder over Avoyles 28-22. Port Allen defeats Faraday 22-20. And Mangum over Kentwood 33-27.
Class 1A playoff bracket, backed by GMFS Mortgage.
Oak Grove 55, East Beauregard 6. Logansport 22-8 winner over West St. John. Homer shuts out Block 42-0. White Castle over Lhsaa 26-12. Grand Lake defeats Delhi 36-6. Centerville beats Oberlin in overtime 42-40. Haynesville 18, Basile 0. East Iberville 41, Slaughter Charter 22.
Thanks so much to Skip and Charlie and Will and the entire team. Dustin helping us out getting scores. Danny on the video tonight. Ryan on the audio for the program. Lake After Hours, Lake Urgent Care, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Cade Voisin, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. LHSA Executive Director Eddie Bonine joining us in studio as well. In the 5A bracket, you heard a final that was featured as our Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show Game of the Week. West Monroe and Central. It was West Monroe that comes ahead and wins this ball game. What, the fourth or fifth time these teams have seen each other since 2013. And a close game where the Rebels pulled away in that second half.
Fourth time these two teams have played. Really good first half. We got to see it 7-7 when I left. It started off kind of like I thought. Central got the ball first, wasn't able to do anything with it. Well, they got a first down, had a penalty, backed them up. But then West Monroe really, they got the ball to -46, hit a big play, just ran a toss, and Jerome Williams, the big running back, busts it inside the 10. They go on and score. After that, they got a 3-and-out for Central again. They had to punt. West Monroe takes advantage of another good short field position, but Central held them at that point, and they missed a field goal. After that, it was back and forth. They kept trading 3-and-outs. Central got the ball back, had one good drive. They started on their -36, drove it to the West Monroe 22, had 4th and 1, and they run a rail route or a wheel route, whatever you want to call it, out of the backfield, and the guy is wide open and just didn't complete the pass. Just didn't make a good throw on it. That would have put Central back tied, and then Central responds, holds them again. They end up forcing a punt. They get the ball back with a minute something left. They have to go 80 yards. They do. I thought they would just run the clock out, take a 7-0 lead at halftime, but they did. They had a big pass play, went down and scored with 6 seconds left, 7-7, and then West Monroe just kind of wore them out in the second half. They were so much bigger than Central was. Central starting 2 sophomores on the offensive line and 2 freshmen on the offensive line. They have a young center who's going to be really, really good. He's a freshman, big kid. He's going to be one to keep an eye on. But it was a good game. And also want to congratulate Ashley Rush, Guardy's wife, for being inducted or being recognized at Central from the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. She had to miss it because of her pawpaw, Mr. Bill's funeral was around the same time, and she just didn't want to deal with both of them. But she was honored. I've been knowing Ashley since forever, and their family, and the Smingers, and it was a nice night for the whole family.
And a shout out to Gordy too, with Jesuit losing. They valiant effort, really good effort, but they lost. Call me again.
Heck of a ball game though. Trailed early and responded. They were down a couple of touchdowns. Jesuit responded, come back. Brother Martin goes down, one or two scores. Brother Martin answers and scores right there at the end of the ball game. So yeah, it was a heck of a ball game for Brother Martin. Brother Martin Catholic next week.
And Robin Fambro was at a Division I game as well today.
She was at Curtis, right?
Yep.
Curtis Scotlandville, which was a good game. So let's find out how it went.
Yeah, let's get on the GMFS Mortgage Hotline, and we join the Hall of Famer. Speaking of Hall of Fames, Robin Fambro joins us. Robin, tell us how about the game you were at tonight.
Well, can I make one little comment first, one little kind of quasi-correction? Ashley's induction, and Ashley Lewis has been a huge part of my sports writing career, one of the best softball players, high school softball players ever in Louisiana. She was inducted into the Louisiana High School Sports Hall of Fame, there's two different Hall of Fames, Louisiana High School
that's
Sports
right.
Hall of Fame, and then there's also the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame.
Right.
Yeah, Curtis goes up 20-0, and give Scotlandville credit, they clawed back and got within 20-14. But just, Curtis is Curtis. Curtis comes back and scores, makes a 2-point conversion, and then they get a pick six. I mean, Curtis had 3 interceptions tonight. That was a big part of what they did. Another part of what they did, they ran for over 350 yards, and they ran a lot of different guys. They also ran 3 quarterbacks because Buddy Taylor, their starter, was a little dinged up with an ankle injury. He really didn't carry the ball much and wasn't in there. They used a couple of other guys in there. One broke loose for a long touchdown. The other one threw a 2-point PAT pass that wound up making it a 2-touchdown game with 6 minutes left. And, it was just one of those things where against a team like Curtis, the margin for error is small. Now, talk to Lester Ricard. It was tough for them to be off for almost a month because, they had that 2-week contact tracing after the deal with Zachary, after they beat Zachary in that game here at Mumford. And then, of course, they had the playoff bye. And I agree, it took them a while to get in sync on offense. It was, it was just not meant to be for them tonight.
Robin, how was Scotlandville's tackling early in the game? Because I talked with Coach Ricard on Wednesday, and I thought that would be a key, having a month layoff, basically playing November the 7th was their last playing date. And we talked about how fast that veer hits you, and we just didn't know how they would respond tackling.
And they got burned on the things, they felt like they were ready, but they got burned on the things that you get burned on with a veer, which is the dive. You have to stop the dive.
That's right.
And the very first touchdown, the kid Taylor completed a 22-yard pass that kind of got him started. And then Patrick LaBranch just goes for a dive up the middle for 33 yards. And it was the same kind of thing. It took them a little while to get into that, but once they did, I thought they did a really good job tackling after a while. But, you give Curtis so many chances, and they're going to break one. And then the combination of, Scotlandville was in the red zone twice, once at the 4 and once at the 10 in the first half and got no points.
Ooh.
So think about how different the game could have been if that had happened.
That's right.
Yeah, that was going to be kind of what I was going to hint on, Jimmy, in that layoff time. We've seen it affect different teams differently. Teams have enjoyed the rest. Maybe it got them healthier. Maybe the idea of the tackling being something that it's hard to replicate, especially when you're going up against John Curtis.
Absolutely. But I thought they did, pretty well, all things considered. Again, when they busted the dive up the middle, I kind of cringed a little bit. but as it got the two plays that probably that hurt him on. The first touchdown was a dive, and then the third touchdown was one of the younger kids, Jordan Smith, was one of the other quarterbacks they used. He just takes the option straight to the outside because they were overplaying for the dive and goes 78 yards for a touchdown.
Robin, this is Eddie.
Yeah. Hey.
Thank you again for your coverage and what you do for high school sports in the state. Fellas, we had initially that bracket was set up so that the buys were going to be on the front end versus the tail end, so we reverted that bracket back recently to what it looked like 2 years ago,
right.
So that they could get those games in. Specifically, what Robin touched on, where some of these schools here at the beginning that had that bye didn't have that 3 to 4 week left. Could have been very well been 4 weeks before they played, and that just wasn't going to be right.
Right.
Have you ever asked her a question she didn't know the answer to when it regards to high school sports?
I don't ask her any questions like that about high school sports because I stay away from those. But you may ask her. She asks me questions I don't have answers to because that happens quite a bit.
Hey, people ask me things that I don't have questions to. I had somebody ask me tonight that said, "Can we pick your brain?" I said, "There may not be much there, but give it a shot."
Thanks again, Robin.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate it, and I know we just kind of missed each other down through this crazy year, but we appreciate having you on tonight and giving us the scoop on the game. And we had a lot of good games around Baton Rouge this evening.
Yeah, we sure did. I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit about them when I get home. There are some of them I know about. There's others I don't really know as much about, so I'm kind of curious when you're out covering a game and you're doing live scoring and some of these other things. You're kind of in a little bit of a vacuum. I caught a little peek at halftime and heard and saw a few things on social media the rest of the way, but this is I always call it this the most wonderful time of the year. It just winds up also coinciding more so with Christmas this year.
It certainly does, but we're looking forward to each week, and we appreciate your time tonight, Robin.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great one.
You too. Be safe.
There you go, Robin Fambro.
What you get me for Christmas, by the way, Cade?
If I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise, Coach.
I can't tell you either, Jimmy.
Has he waved at his daughter yet?
Nope.
She actually went to bed right after she said, "Hi, Daddy." Got a book, got an iPad.
She's mad.
It's like
as big as a weekend, big of a Friday night as it was this weekend. I'm just glancing at the brackets. It looks like we have one local game, and that's going to be Alexandria at Zachary. I think that's only.
Did all of our
What about East Iberville?
Yeah, East Iberville will be at home. Yeah, and White Castle. There's 3 of them, I think. And White Castle. Catholic will be on the road. U-High will be on the road.
And Skip's going to get to that. He's going to give us the matchups here pretty quick, like.
Right.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, next hour he'll be giving us the matchups and who's hosted.
Before we go to break, again, a shout out to Hunter Bauer and Go Preps providing the awesome logos, helmet logos that you're seeing if you're watching us on YouTube or CST for the playoffs throughout the night. But he's been a great resource throughout the year, but also kind of helping power these brackets that Todd puts together each week.
So this week I published if you want to call it that, an article on Go Preps. It was about the Hannon kid we talked about. So I put it on a couple of Facebook and groups, and all of a sudden somebody commented on it. I went and looked. It was an English teacher from St. Dominican. Blew me out of the water for my English errors, my mistake, my grammar errors. I told her, I said, I'm a coach, but if you're willing to, I said, you ought to hear me talk. If you think my writing's bad, you ought to listen to me talk.
I've edited them in the past, and I've always thought they were great.
Did she offer to edit for you? Or?
I asked her. I said,
we ought to start sending it to her.
Yep.
Hey, before we go to break, talk about the Catholic High Rummel game. We have a few minutes. We can extend the break. Cade.
No, let's take a break now. We'll come back. We're going to have a very short segment when we get back. This is the Lake Urgent Care.
You just back off and let him handle it.
Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Cox Sports Television.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA-certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both, with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
I've been doing business with Louisville for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Lhsaa a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Just about 2 minutes before we take our break here at the end of the hour. In hour two, we'll set the scene for next week's matchups. The semifinals in the select and the quarterfinals in the non-select. We'll tell you who's hosting and where. That'll be how we lay out the brackets in the next hour. Before we do that, Coach, you were bringing up an interesting point before we were going to break, if I'm not mistaken.
About Catholic?
Yeah, we were going to break down, I guess, at some point of what you saw in that first half.
Right.
Very competitive. Maybe what you heard in the post game, I don't know if they could score on us. They were able to score on us.
Oh, they were scoring.
And a very competitive ball game. Interesting what Catholic's been able to do. They've had some players go down, but man, they Gabe and that team, they've found ways to keep things going.
That was a real physical game tonight, and which you don't see much anymore. Catholic won the toss and elected to receive. And on the very first play, they tried a little quick hitch backside. It was complete, but they hit the quarterback. Oh, I thought you were just saying,
oh,
no, but they hit the quarterback. And, here's a freshman getting hit by – so it shook him a little bit, and they ended up going to Wildcat.
Like welcome to the playoffs kind of moment.
Yep.
Huh? Yeah.
George Hart kept him in the game the
Indeed.
first half. And, we talked about him a couple of weeks ago, but, this Diggs kid was 175 yards in the first half. Wickersham got banged up. Then he ended up getting banged up. But really the first half was, Rummel doing everything they needed to. And then right before half, George Hart got loose there. 21-7, it was 3rd and 7 or something like that. George Hart gets loose, and they go ahead and score, and they go 21-14, ends up.
Yeah, between
got
that
a big
and the
interception right to start the second half.
All right, more scores, setting the scene for next
Got to
round.
fix Todd's hair for Gordy.
Looks great. We'll be right back. Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show coming your way next.
This was us 20 years ago. Since then, we've grown to over 200 employees. We've helped over 100,000 people purchase, build, renovate, or refinance. Over $17 billion in loans. We make the mortgage process easy and convenient. Apply online or at one of our local branches. If you're looking to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, go to gmfsmortgage.com to see how we can help change your life today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
T-Bob Abear here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one, but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. For Kids helps kids through golf because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours, on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Voisin.
Welcome to Hour 2 of tonight's show. Cade Voisin, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, special guests in the building tonight. Louisiana High School Athletics Association Executive Director Eddie Bonine. We'll have some victorious head coaches. We'll round out by setting the scene for next week. Let's go ahead and get to the latest scoreboard in Hour 2 during the playoffs. We like to tell you who's playing in the quarterfinals on the non-select side, who's playing in the semifinals on the select side, and who is hosting those football games. Skip, take it away.
Class 5A Playoff Bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbot.
In 5A, Mandeville will be traveling to Acadiana, while Ruston will be hosting Destrehan. Zachary will be hosting Alexandria, and East St. John will travel up north to West Monroe.
Class 4A Playoff Bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Plaquemine will travel to Karen Crow. Menden will host Neville. Tioga awaits the Saturday game of Landry Walker and Warren Easton, and Carr will head to Eunice.
Class 4A Playoff Bracket, pumped by Peak Performance. Playoff Bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Madison Prep will travel to Jennings. Church Point will host St. James. Lake Charles College Prep, South Beauregard. Also, Gina and Jewel Sumner both play Saturday. Those winners will play each other. And Union Parish will host St. Martinville.
Class 2A Playoff Bracket, brightened by Musco Lighting.
Amite will host Manny. General Trass will host St. Helena Central. Kinder will travel to Loreauville. And Mangum will host Port Allen.
Class 1A Playoff Bracket, backed by GMFS Mortgage.
Oak Grove will host Logansport. White Castle will host Homer. Grand Lake will travel to Centerville. And Haynesville will travel to East Iberville.
The Select Division I Playoff Bracket, brightened by Musco Lighting.
Catholic of Baton Rouge will travel to New Orleans to play Brother Martin. And C.E. Bird will host John Curtis.
The Select Division II Playoff Bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
De La Salle will host Edie White, while U High will travel to Lafayette to play St. Thomas More.
The Select Division III Playoff Bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbot.
Lafayette Christian heads to New Orleans to play Newman, while Notre Dame heads to Laplace to play St. Charles.
The Select Division IV Playoff Bracket, backed by GMFS Mortgage.
Southern Lab will travel to Calvary, while Ouachita Christian will come down to Vermilion Catholic.
Thank you, Skip, for getting those scores. Thanks so much to Hunter Bauer and GoPreps.com, providing the helmet graphics that you're seeing if you're watching on CST or the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Being told we were efforting Coach Don Gibson from Port Allen. Big win for the Pelicans tonight, 22-20. Nice job by the Pelicans, one of the local teams advancing tonight. I believe Ryan's got him on hold. So let's go ahead and jump on the GMFS Mortgage Hotline and join victorious head coach Gibson from Port Allen. Coach, congratulations on the win. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys for having us on.
Coach, you know, the old cliche in coaching and coaches talk is you want to be playing your best football at this time of the year, but you're living proof of it that you're doing it. I thought a big part of your success goes back to Dunham. You you sneak by in that game or win, not sneak by, but win, and then you lose to a really good Episcopal team, but you played them as close as anyone has played them all year, and you're peaking at the right time.
You know, it's just kind of been on a process all year. You know, these kids, we kind of set some goals before the year started. And, you know, we felt like we would be a good team. Actually, we knew we would be a good team this year. And, you know, we knew we would fly underneath the radar. And, you know, these kids been believing all year. You know, we faced some adversity to start the year that a lot of people don't know about. But these kids, you know, they had blinders on. These coaches did a great job of making sure the kids understood that, you know, we still had a lot of goals to obtain. And, you know, and I think the kids just bought into everything that we were selling. And, you know, these are the benefits. We're reaping the benefits of it.
Coach, did you start in 2017? Was that your first season?
Yep, that was my first year.
So, you know, when they talk about the process, that's another thing that, you know, your first year, you had a couple wins, and you've gradually grown to this point. Can you talk a little bit about that? For people that don't know, he was hired from Oklahoma, and you wanted to come closer to home, and Port Allen gave you that opportunity, and you're giving them a winning football team in return.
Exactly. You know, and it was, I did my research to understand that this was a great program. You know, it kind of fell on a little hard times here. When I took over, I was the third head coach for those seniors that I came in and inherited. And we kind of had our ups and downs, and those guys graduated. But that next year, you know, we were really young. We counted on a lot of freshmen and a couple of sophomores. And you could see the potential there, but we knew we were going to go through some growing pains. But the biggest thing was the kids kept believing. They understand what the process was, and they believed in it. And, you know, the program just continued to grow. It continued to grow. And, you know, last year we had a couple of games that could have went anyway, but we didn't come out on the winning end of it. But I think it just helped build us as a program to put us in this position that we're in today. Coach
Gibson, going into tonight, if I'm not mistaken, of course, Port Allen defeats Faraday 22-20. Faraday was averaging 51.3, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the highest points per game in the state. They're the defending state champion. How did your defense hold them to 20?
I just think believe it. You know, we had a great game plan. The kids believed all year long that they can get it done. And for the most part, we played really good defense this year. We've kind of had a couple of games where we kind of bend a little bit but don't break. You know, the Episcopal game, we were in it. We were fighting defense. We had a great game plan. We got out of position a couple of times that led to some big plays. So our biggest thing is we know who we are on defense. We're going to attack. We're going to run to the ball, and we're going to set the tempo early. And I think the kids understood that and bought into what we're trying to sell here. And we've reaped the benefits once again of that defensively.
You always have this much energy?
Always.
No, that's great, though.
And that's the thing. You know, when I went through the interview process, I think they were probably like, man, this dude is always wired. But, you know, when I walk around the school, I'm the same way. You know, that's just who I am. I'm a person with great energy. I love what I do, and I enjoy it, and I just love being around these kids and helping them grow.
Helping them grow into young men, that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach Gibson, we appreciate your time on the Scoreboard Show tonight. Congratulations on the win. Best of luck next week.
Thank you guys. We appreciate for having me on.
I think they will travel to Mangum, if I'm not mistaken. Skip has them. They traveled to Mangum, if I'm not mistaken.
And we're working on I think Coach Brandon Brown from East St. John will be up here shortly.
Faraday was one of those teams that we mentioned earlier. Their last game was 11-6, November the 6th. Mm-hmm. They lost to Mangum, and then they received the forfeit. And of course, then they had the cancellations. They received the forfeit in round one. So it's been a month since they've played, and they lost that last game. They were 6-1 going into tonight, defending state championships. That's a big upset to me.
Oh, yeah.
For Port Allen. I mean, that's big because even though Faraday was a 7 and Port Allen was a 10, everybody thought Faraday was going to be right back in there with Manny.
I did too.
In the state championship.
We got Brandon Brown with East St. John, victorious.
Let's go ahead and join Coach as we jump on the GMFS Mortgage Hotline. Coach, thanks so much for your time tonight. Congratulations on the win.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot.
Coach, my first question goes back a week ago to just, man, an incredible football game. I guess a non-football related question. Was that the toughest you guys have ever had to wash uniforms after a ball game like that?
Absolutely. Listen, one of my coaches used to say, Coach, look, it's about time we buy some new uniforms. Like, man, those are brand new to Coach. They about destroyed.
They're done.
So, those are tough.
Coach, I thought he was going to ask about your health. I mean, those back-to-back games like that, man, that'll make your heart beat a little hard.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But you know what? I'm so proud of my kids. We got a resilient group of guys who, we've been working extremely hard since June 10th when we came back after the pandemic. And, I'm just proud of those guys and my coaching staff. We've done a good job of trying to hold everything together in spite of the situation, with all the hurricanes and COVID. And, we've been doing a good job. So just got to keep this thing going brick by brick, week by week.
You talking about Coach Brown and them. East St. John is another team that had that layoff right at the end of the season. They didn't start practicing until the Wednesday before the Woodlawn game, but they got it done in terrible conditions. I think East St. John's, Coach, what you do, put it on the ground 14 times, 13 times that night and still came away with a win. 13 times in the win. It was just a terrible field conditions. Coach, talk about Jackie Marshall. Baylor commit, plays defensive end, linebacker type, but last week you move him to running back, and he responds with 3 touchdowns, including the one in overtime to win the ball game against Woodlawn. How did he look tonight, and did you play him both sides?
Yes, sir. Jackie played well for us. We tried to spare him, as much as possible. We knew, at the end of the day, bottom line, when we needed a big play, we would put the ball in his hand. But our sophomore Cortez Fisher, had an awesome game running the football, so we kept it in his hands. But down in that fourth quarter, we went with our big package and put the ball in Jackie's hand. Man, he made a huge run for us and kind of got us going and kind of spark, give us a spark that we needed.
You guys and Coach, I probably, without asking you, I was going to talk about the adversity you guys had faced and how that made you guys closer as a team with the loss of Galen Fobb's mother.
Well, you know what? We've been trying to just hold it all together, not just for us as a team, but for Galen as well.
Right.
But I've been tremendously impressed with Galen. Galen has not missed a day since that happened, and I told Galen, I said, listen, if you need to take some time off, we understand. He said, Coach, I'll be there. And the team kind of rally around him, and that's the thing. That's kind of been our rallying cry right now. We're trying to do it for Big 75.
Your defensive front, I have talked to officials who have had y'all's games and mentioned your defensive front, how good and aggressive they were. Talk about the guys up front.
Man, our guys up front has been playing tremendously well, led by Jackie Marsh, and also we have another senior up front, Waylon Williams, who's a McNeese commit. I'm just proud of those guys. Those guys are not only football players. Those guys are real student athletes. Those guys are real scholars. They lead us. The things that they're doing on the field is a great representation of the type of people they are. We have some great guys who do it in the classroom, do it in the hallways, and also in the community. And so, it's easy for our young guys. We're a very, very young team. We only have 12 seniors. But it's easy for those young guys to buy in the things that Waylon and Jack preaching because of them, because of their leadership, and not just on the field. Those guys lead by example, so it's easy for those guys. And so they've been leading us up front, and like you said, they're very aggressive and they're dominant. They're dominant.
Coach Brown, we have Mr. Eddie Bonin as our guest tonight with us, and I wanted to ask him a question while we have you on the air. But when you hear the issues, coaches are so important to young guys because there's so many things that go on that we may or may not know about. But when you have a guy like Coach Brown, that's got to make you feel good, leader of the LHSAA.
It does, and we have so many coaches like Coach Brown out there, and that's why I said at the beginning of the show tonight that the coaches and the athletes, like the program that Coach Brown's running, all the adversity they go through, people don't see that, and then to throw on top of it. We're not even talking about COVID. I'm talking about just with teenagers in general and keeping that football program together, building a culture out there, but then adding COVID on top of it. All of our coaches, athletes, the sports medicine people, anybody and everybody has found a way to pull this team together and keep going in the same direction. Look at us now, and in the week we're in, and we're just a few short weeks away from Prep Classic, and these guys are doing a great job. And Coach Brown, congratulations on your win tonight.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot.
Well, Coach Brown, we appreciate your time, man. I know there's lots of work to get to as you guys prepare for West Monroe.
A lot of excitement.
A lot of excitement around the East St. John Wildcats. So we'll be following you guys. Best of luck next week, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Went to reserve one time to East St. John.
Mm-hmm.
I was a kid. We were watching Neville play East St. John in the semifinals. And within 5 minutes, the fog rolled in and we couldn't see the other side of the field.
Hey, you know,
Isn't it right there on the river, right?
It's in Lhsaa. I don't think it's on the
close to
river.
where they
It's
do
close
the,
to airline
bonfires?
highway. Not really. I mean, it's not far.
Right.
It's not far, but yeah, it's closer to airline highway when you get off at the Lhsaa exit.
The River Parish football is some real good football when you look at the group as a whole.
Oh, Destrehan, Hanville, you go down to Terrebonne. You know, Central Lafourche South is struggling a little bit, but yes, absolutely. Yeah, you throw in that whole area. You throw in St. James. You throw in West St. John. That area is nice to play in.
And I've learned as being for someone not from Louisiana, a different language there too.
Yes,
there's an accent there that sometimes you have to cut through to.
That's right.
I was listening to the Destrehan Dutchtown game tonight, and those guys that were doing it were a little, cutting some things short. Maybe we can get back. We'll talk about maybe the Superdome championships, how they look.
Yep.
City of New Orleans.
Getting ready for it. Just a couple of weeks. We'll be heading to the Dome teams. We'll find out next week the first set of teams on the select side. We'll continue to recap tonight and set the scene for next week's games here on this playoff round 2 edition of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Cox Sports Television.
This was us 20 years ago. Since then, we've grown to over 200 employees. We've helped over 100,000 people purchase, build, renovate, or refinance. Over $17 billion in loans. We make the mortgage process easy and convenient. Apply online or at one of our local branches. If you're looking to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, go to gmfsmortgage.com to see how we can help change your life today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Louis for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Lhsaa a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in
The Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Class 5A Playoff Bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbot.
Mandeville is traveling to Acadiana. Ruston will be hosting Destrehan. Alexandria travels to Baton Rouge to play Zachary. East St. John will travel up north to West Monroe.
Class 4A Playoff Bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Plaquemine will travel to Carencro. Neville will travel to Minden. Tioga awaits the winner of Landry Walker and Warren Easton. And Carr will travel to Eunice.
Class 3A Playoff Bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Madison Prep will travel to Jennings. Church Point will host St. James. Lake Charles College Prep and South Beauregard and Gina and Jewel Sumner play Saturday. And Union Parish will host St. Martinville.
Class 2A Playoff Bracket, brightened by Musco Lighting.
Manny will travel to Amite. St. Helena will travel to General Trass. Kinder will travel to Lauraville. And Port Allen will travel to Mangum.
Class 1A Playoff Bracket, backed by GMFS Mortgage.
Oak Grove will host Logansport. White Castle will host Homer. Grand Lake will travel to Centerville. And East Iberville will host Haynesville.
The Select Division I Playoff Bracket, brightened by Musco Lighting.
Catholic High will travel to New Orleans, play Brother Martin. And John Curtis will travel to Shreveport, play Bird.
The Select Division II Playoff Bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Edie White travels to New Orleans to play De La Salle. And U-High travels to Lafayette to play St. Thomas More.
The Select Division III Playoff Bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbot.
Lafayette Christian will travel to New Orleans to play Newman. And Notre Dame will travel to Laplace to play St. Charles.
The Select Division IV Playoff Bracket, backed by GMFS Mortgage.
Southern Lab will travel to Shreveport to play Calvary. And Washington Christian will travel to Vermilion Catholic.
Thanks so much to Skip and to Charlie, as well as Dustin and Will, who is out on injured reserve tonight, but we've appreciated his help all season. Ryan producing the audio side of tonight's program, and Danny on the video, Cade Voisin, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy. Special guest, LHSA Executive Director Eddie Bonine, joining us throughout the night, so we appreciate you, Mr. Bonine, and we appreciate our next guest, whose appearances all season long have been brought to us by Billy's. Get the crackling, get the boudin, and all your fixins for the tailgate weekend.
Do our guests get some Billy's boudin?
I don't know.
I would think so.
I mean, after a great win at the Open Air Crow Dome, I think everyone is going to be craving some Billy's. Karen Crow getting the win over DeRidder tonight, 42-7. Ben Love of 103.7 The Game joins us now. As I said, his appearance is brought to us by Billy's. Ben, how are you?
Doing great, guys. I've already had dinner tonight, but you mentioned Billy's. I'm hungry again.
I understand. That's fully understandable. But, hey, did you hear last week when Living the Dream Guide Service on Toledo Bend contacted us?
You're kidding.
Invited us up there to go fishing.
He didn't invite you, though. Let's not lie.
Mr. Jack Haynes, the Bassmasters Classic legend, Texas.
He's a Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer, Coach.
Absolutely.
On that invite list.
Do what? Hello?
He must be hunting again.
Coach, you got to get me on that invite list to go fishing.
Well, yeah, we're going to have to make that trip.
Then we can
No
finally
doubt.
put it this battle of rest of who can catch. the
Yeah, but
best
we'll
fish.
just be purse jerking and hydrating.
Well, Karen Crow and Neville looks like they're due to butt heads here in a couple weeks.
You know, I thought that Westgate game might be a challenge tonight. It was in North Louisiana for a half, and then the Neville Tigers able to pull away. We'll find out, Coach. Look, Karen Crow's got Plaquemine at the open-air Crow Dome, and here's what becomes interesting. That first-round COVID forfeiture, that was treated as a home game for Karen Crow. They played at home tonight. You mentioned they beat DeRidder 42-7. They're going to get Plaquemine at home next week, and as the semifinal top seed, they're guaranteed to be at home.
Right.
Karen Crow may not have to leave home before going to the Dome or wherever the state championships are this year. I don't know that I've ever quite heard of that before.
Yeah, Katie Anna's in the same situation in the 5A bracket. Zachary's in that situation,
Yep.
I think, on in the 5A bracket also. Any surprises over there in the Lafayette area? I was kind of surprised by how well Parkview played St. Thomas More in the first half, especially.
Yeah, I thought that Parkview defense did as well as you can expect right now against St. Thomas More. I would look at Eunice. I think they're about to run into a buzzsaw, obviously, hosting it in the car. But the fact that, I mean, that was a 3A team 2 years ago. They're going through this 4A bracket pretty easily so far. Looking around, I kind of thought that Lafayette High might put up a little more of a fight at Mandeville. They were scoreless for most of that game. I think they ended up losing 31-8. Turling's Catholic, being as competitive as they were at Lhsaa, the top seed in Division II, I thought was a bit of a surprise. But everybody else in the area that was supposed to win, by and large, did. You know what? I might highlight St. Martinville. For Vince Derwin's team to be back in the state quarterfinals after the down year they had, that's a big win.
Big win. Big win over Green Oaks. Green Oaks quarterback needed like 380-something yards. They received a forfeit last week.
Right.
He would have become the sixth player in Louisiana high school history to surpass 10,000 passing yards. You're talking about guys like Brock Berlin,
Todd
Moody
Black.
Kids, Todd Black. I said passing yards, not handles. But, I mean, Philip Dees, and it puts him in an elite class, and I don't know if he got that or not, but they had three of the top receivers in the state. So that is a really good win for St. Martinville.
Hey, you know, I'll throw one other out, a game that was a lot closer than I expected. LCA 14, Episcopal of Baton Rouge 12. That is a whale of a job by the Episcopal defense to hold those nights to that point total. So some respect gained for me even in a loss.
We said Episcopal was their best team, I think, that I've seen anyway in my time covering it. Coach Travis Bourgeois did a phenomenal job, but Todd called it. He thought it'd be closer than what I thought it would be, and like you being, I think most of us thought it was going to be a pretty good win. But Episcopal was way more physical than people gave them credit for on both sides of the ball up front. One question that I have, and I don't know if you've heard anything on this, is how is Sage Ryan?
I do not have an update.
Okay.
It didn't look good, but my biggest fear was being that they would play the jersey and not play the team. I thought that if they looked at it as Lafayette Christian, that they would struggle, and that would be known early. But they did not, and that says a lot about them.
Clearly. And, you know, maybe you guys can educate me on this. Obviously, I've been at the Open Air Crow Dome, following our area teams. And we've got a semi-area team. I look at Jennings 50, Lutcher 49, and I just wish I was there. You guys got to tell me about that ball game.
Okay. Lutcher led most of the game, Coach, and right at the end, Lutcher's up 7. Jennings hits a hook and ladder play to Etienne with 48 seconds and scores on it and goes for 2 for the win.
Oh, my.
Yes. And it came from about – the hook and lateral play came from about midfield area, somewhere up in there. between the two 40s. So it was a 40-something yard play, I believe.
Incredible. Well, look, I'm excited about where we're going with this Class 4A bracket. I think you're probably right with what you said. Karen Crow versus Neville in the Open Air Crow Dome. That was a state quarterfinal game that I called in 2016. It's got a chance to be a state semi game this year, the week before Christmas.
That should be a good one. That's going to be two physical ball teams, tradition rich. We're going to find out if it's Karen Crow's year this year. A lot of people think it is. Coach Corville's doing a heck of a job. They have the horses. And remember, this group has been playing since they were freshmen, and this is their year to do it.
Well, it all starts at Billy's, because if they get their boudin, they're crackling. They'll be good to go for the week. And we always appreciate our appearances each and every week with Ben Love, 103.7 The Game on the preview show as well as the scoreboard show. Ben, thanks so much for your time tonight, man. Look forward to our chats next week.
Anytime. It starts with Billy's boudin and it ends with a fishing trip. We'll make it soon.
That's right. Can't go wrong with either one, I can tell you.
See you guys.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ben Love of 103.7 The Game. I believe we have another head football coach on the phone, or we're certainly efforting. Yep, we do. Let's go ahead and jump on the phone lines right back. And Scott Wilcher, Mangum head football coach. Dragons get the win tonight, 33-27 over Kentwood. They advance to take on Port Allen next week. Coach, an overtime win in the regional round of the postseason.
Yeah, it's a great game. You know, Kentwood's not your typical 18 seed, that's for sure.
You know, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, Coach, and said that, you know, earlier in the season, you know, and I guess it's hard to tell these days with COVID and all, but, you know, Coach, Mangum, you've been in 1A, you've been in 2A. Y'all continue to find success and not such a big school and big town, I should say. That says a lot about that town, though, is the commitment to make the Dragons a winner each year.
Yeah, we got a great community, got a great administration, and they work with us. You know, this is my second year to be the head coach there, and we got a great group of kids that work really hard every day and got a great coaching staff.
What's I'm sorry, go ahead.
Coach, offensively, you've been lights out this year. First off, you go back to beating Faraday towards the end of the year. It's the first time Mangum's ever won that ball game. But your quarterback, Caleb Pleasant, leads an offense with 1,333 yards, and the least amount of points going into tonight, guys, that Mangum has scored is 40.
Wow.
So they've been putting up points all year long. Tell us about your offense.
Yeah, I mean, our offensive coordinator, Thompson, he does a great job. We got some really good athletes. We got some really good athletes on that side of the ball, and Caleb kind of runs that thing for us, and them guys have just been tremendous all year. And, you know, Kentwood just played great defense tonight, and we turned the ball over a couple of times there in the first quarter when we were driving it. And that's kind of a characteristic of us. We haven't done that all year, and, you know, it led to a 20-0 deficit there early, but our kids kept their composure and kept playing.
How does your district prepare you for the playoffs? We talked about last week how good this district is.
Well, you know, we kind of, not our district, but our non-conference schedule, we kind of inherited that. We definitely got to beef that up a little bit going into these next 2 years. But our district, you know, you're sitting there with General Trash that finished third in that district, and I believe they won tonight, went to the quarterfinals. Of course, you got parity in there, and, you know, Rayville also plays good football at times. So, you know, our district, the 4 teams right there is kind of the top of that district right now. And, you know, it's been great for us to be able to compete against them guys. And I think we started believing in ourselves a little bit after we was able to go into parity and beat them. And I think that prepared us going into Kentwood.
You have two good athletes in wide receiver J.T. Smith and your running back Cam Wilmore. What classification are they, and tell us about those guys?
Well, Cam's the senior. You know, we call him the bull. He's about 215, 220, and he carries the ball very well for us. JT's also a senior. JT's been hurt for about the last 3 or 4 weeks. We got him back at probably about 80, 85% this week. So hopefully he'll get healthy, because when we get the ball in his hands, you know, he can just make plays with his feet. He does a great job.
Jimmy's kind of selfish. He only talks about offense, but I want you to be able to talk about your defensive guys too, because even though we are both offensive guys, we know the defense wins championships, and it takes a lot of tough guys over there to do it. And highlight just a couple of those guys as well.
Well, we're very young on that side of the ball. You know, our front four, We're starting a freshman and 2 sophomores in there along with 1 senior. Them guys just been tremendous for us. We've got 2 senior linebackers and another sophomore, 2 more sophomores playing on the back end, and they've just gotten better every week. Our defensive coaches, Coach Peters, our defensive coordinator, and his coaches he's got working for him, Coach Dunn in the secondary, they do a great job with them young guys, and they're getting better and better every week. I mean, after the first quarter tonight, they only yielded 7 points to Kentwood, and they got a big stop in overtime.
That's some excellent experience for those young men getting the opportunity to play in these kind of games. Coach, we consider what's happened this year. Do you feel like your team has a greater appreciation just every week for the opportunity to get out there and compete, being that we were talking, we didn't know what this season would have in store for us, but the fact that we're looking ahead to the quarterfinals, is there a greater appreciation, you think, by your team after going through what a lot of teams have gone through this year?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, we tell our guys every week this could be it, and that's out of our control with this COVID. We told them that since day one when we said we'd get them back there and start practicing out the middle or get back in the weight room toward the end of June, and we told them that, and I think they got a greater appreciation. I think it's nurtured them a lot. I think take things for granted, and they kind of do that in practice. They practice well, and they come out on Friday nights playing good football.
Coach, living in Monroe, I'm very familiar with the speed trap through Mangum. So next time I'm just going to throw your name around, see if I can get out of that ticket.
Yeah, well, if we're still winning,
I think so.
Good thing,
If he's winning, he can get whatever you need.
yeah, but you're only as good as your last game. And you're probably safe this week, but, who knows after next week.
Right. Congratulations, Coach.
Hey, thanks for your time, too.
Yeah, thank y'all, man. Appreciate it.
There you go. It's Mangum head football coach Scott Wilcher. I think back to Mangum before we go to break, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong. In the Superdome, those Mangum-Haynesville matchups were ones we've seen quite a bit of. So when seeing them in this 2A bracket against those teams, we've seen them deep in the postseason.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You been to Mangum? Been through it?
I have, and Miss Connie was on my executive committee for a while when she was principal there. She's since retired, but she was on our board as well, so I'm very familiar with them.
Matchup on that side of the bracket, Port Island will travel to Mangum. Laurelville will host Kinder. Laurelville's undefeated. Terry Martin used to be at Cecilia High School.
Got his number.
Has done a phenomenal job, 7-0. They're another one. Just started practicing last week. And Kinder, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Baton may can help me out here. I believe that's a school that benefited from the hurricane with transfers.
So you remember they played St. Louis right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
St. Louis beat them, but that was the rumor back then. So I think you're right on that.
That's right. In their last 5 games, they've outscored their opponents 47-5 in average points per game.
I was about to say
points per game, but if I'm not mistaken, that was the rumor on the street at least that they were getting some of the kids. In which, hey, I don't blame them, man. If you got to move and you got to go play, and with the mess that they had in Lake Charles and all they've been through,
they didn't get that many.
They didn't get that many. Okay,
but it goes back to you guys. We had 5 hurricanes come through the state.
Yes, we did.
And for you guys to be able to manage that without, dude, I asked him when I was on the elevator. I said, "Why do you do this? I mean, you never. Because you're always wrong or somebody's." Yeah, I told somebody the other day. They made a comment about the LHSA, and I said, "Well, I do know that when 50 different coaches call them, all 50 think their problem is the most important,
right?
And you can't operate. They don't know you're playing golf though in the back with that putting green. You and Held and Kathy and Karen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Your scores are the most important, and we'll get to those next when we return here on the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Cox Sports Television.
This was us 20 years ago. Since then, we've grown to over 200 employees. We've helped over 100,000 people purchase, build, renovate, or refinance over $17 billion in loans. We make the mortgage process easy and convenient. Apply online or at one of our local branches. If you're looking to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, go to gmfsmortgage.com to see how we can help change your life today.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
The Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Class 5A Playoff Bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Council and Gary Talbot.
Mandeville will travel to Acadiana. Ruston will host Destrehan. Alexandria will travel to Zachary. And East St. John will travel to Monroe to play West Monroe.
Class 4A Playoff Bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Plaquemine will travel to Carencro. Neville will travel to Minden. Tioga awaiting the winner of Landry Walker and Warren Easton. And Edna Carr will travel to Eunice.
Class 3A Playoff Bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Madison Prep will travel to Jennings. St. James will travel to Church Point. And Union Parish will host St. Martinville.
Class 2A Playoff Bracket, brightened by Musco Lighting.
Amite will host Manny. St. Helena will travel to General Trask. Kinder will travel to Laurelville, and Port Allen will travel to Mangum.
Class 1A Playoff Bracket, backed by GMFS Mortgage.
Oak Grove will host Logansport. White Castle will host Homer. Centerville will host Grand Lake. And Haynesville will travel to East Iberville.
The Select Division I playoff bracket, brightened by Musco Lighting.
Catholic of Baton Rouge will travel to New Orleans to play Brother Martin. John Curtis will travel to Shreveport to play Bird.
The Select Division II playoff bracket, strengthened by Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
E.D. White will travel to Lhsaa, and Lhsaa will travel to Lafayette to play St. Thomas More.
The Select Division III playoff bracket, presented by Livingston Parish Councilman Gary Talbot.
Lafayette Christian will travel to New Orleans to play Newman, and Notre Dame will travel to Laplace to play St. Charles.
The Select Division IV playoff bracket, backed by GMFS Mortgage.
Southern Lab will travel to Shreveport to play Calvary, and Washita Christian will travel to Vermilion Catholic.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Toyotathon is happening right now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Get into a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off MSRP. Come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
This was us 20 years ago. Since then, we've grown to over 200 employees. We've helped over 100,000 people purchase, build, renovate, or refinance. Over $17 billion in loans. We make the mortgage process easy and convenient. Apply online or at one of our local branches. If you're looking to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, go to gmfsmortgage.com to see how we can help change your life today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists.
The Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Lake After Hours, Lake Urgent Care Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Cade Voisin, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. Time for us to honor our Musco Lighting Student Athlete of the Week. Coming into us from Scotlandville High School, he is number 3 on the roster, wide receiver Reggie King. 2 years consecutive, 2019-2020 first team all-district wide receiver. As a sophomore, was placed second in triple jump at both indoor and outdoor state track meets. Committed to Prairie View A&M for football, holds offers in football from McNeese State as well as Grambling State, offers in track from Air Force Academy, Louisiana, and McNeese. Named Scotlandville's 2020-2021 Student of the Year. Also Beta Robotics Quiz Bowl Clubs, active member of the FCA. Part of Scotlandville's campaign to register citizens to vote and fill out the census this year. 24 on his ACT, made a 29 in science, a 4.2 GPA student. Reggie King, our Musco Lighting Student Athlete of the Week.
So it would be ridiculous for us to do this show and talk about playoffs and not ask about the Super Bowl, the Superdome. New Orleans, we know New Orleans is always got a lot going on down there with COVID. Is that going to affect the state championships that you can tell as of today?
It could, but right now we're in a contract with the Superdome for 2 more years, and I've been working diligently, not every day, but exaggeration every day in conversations with them. But the COVID could affect it, and the numbers, as you know, are on the increase. And the last that I knew in New Orleans, they are under the 5% positivity rate, but they are now at 3.5%, and I think cases per 100,000 are up over 25,000. So there could very well toggle back to a different phase, and that could affect it. And we'll just have to wait and see. You know, when you look back into March, we were dealing with our life with the COVID. It's like every 14 days or every 21 days. Mm-hmm. As this thing has progressed, and we've got to where we are today, and games tonight, it's literally been hour to hour when it comes to some of the COVID stuff, and shockingly, people dropping off the championship bracket. So we're dealing with it day to day. And as I left the office today, then we'll know more on Monday, and the mayor's to make an announcement, I believe, down there sometime on December 9th. But we'll know more in the next upcoming days. But right now, that's the plan. But if not, then we're going to have to go to possibly a plan B.
Do we have a plan B in place?
We do. I've been working with Dr. Maggio and Dr. Greg Burke at Northwestern State University in Natchitoches, and we have a good working relationship with them. They've hosted our state cross country up there.
Right.
They did an incredible job.
Great little city.
It's a great little city, and it's right after during that time of the holidays, you know, around Christmas and the City of Lights. But we've been working with them or in conversation with them for almost 30 days now, just getting a plan just in case. And I had a conversation with them again today, so that would be a possibility if something does not happen in New Orleans.
And last Friday, Todd, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but last Friday was a prime example of, if at all possible, it needs to be playing the Dome. It rained for 24 hours straight. It would have been a long, miserable day outside playing.
I can't believe we got those in, to be honest with you. But I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, and we were talking about you working hand in hand with the Bessie board, the legislature. A lot of people don't understand that one of the requirements or one of the asks of the executive committee was to rebuild the relationship with the legislature. So you would have open communication with it. And early on, you were doing that, but still being criticized for it. But, you know, it just shows you've stayed the path, you've built relationships, and you say, y'all, we're all stayed in your lanes and got things done, but it has to do with the fact that you're communicating and doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that other people don't see in the benefit of the kids.
Part of the position, part of what our staff does, part of what our communication staff does, and we're not going to do anything as long as I'm your executive director to politicize the high school sports in our state, but we're going to continue to do what we need to. We have a working relationship with the legislature. In fact, there's 2 members that sit on our executive committee that have been assigned to our executive committee outside of what our Constitution permits, which we're going to keep that line of communication. And we're fine. I mean, we're going to continue to do what we do and keep our focus on the student athletes, especially during this time that we need safety, health, and the students need an opportunity not only to go to school but need to play sports.
Can Louisiana Prep Scoreboard have a seat on the executive committee? Just one of us. Maybe Ryan one day, maybe Jimmy.
Oh, no, that's sure.
We could keep it a revolving seat.
It would be revolving because they would. No, I'm gonna be quiet.
Not this group. Not this group. I'm very complimentary of them.
A couple of shout outs. Shout out to Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours. There's always one near you. If you're experiencing what we saw a lot tonight, cramping up. If it's minor injuries, things that maybe you want to get checked on, just there's going to be a Lake After Hours near you. Go check them out. Of course, they can do the flu shots as well. And if you're feeling like you got a bug, they're just very convenient.
Oh, late score?
Yeah. Oh, we did have a final score. I'll let Mr. Bonine give it to our audience.
We did. West Side defeated Northwood 49-48 in overtime. That game was played in Biloxi, Mississippi, actually, and that is part of the Texas State Championship Series.
Coach Josh is on a roll.
I heard, though, that West Side's having a huge gala, and you're the keynote speaker, and they're charging, like, tons.
Actually, it's more of a charity. You can bring canned foods or cakes.
Yep.
But we will be wearing masks and social distancing throughout the whole
for
event.
the cakewalk and the car wash.
I'm leaving that up to Coach Josh.
Shout out to Hooters for feeding the crew tonight. Hooters on College Drive, Segan Lane, as well as out in Denham Springs. Chicken chips are a home run. The smoked wings are great. We appreciate their support. Mr. Bodine, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much, fellas. We appreciate what you do at the show and what you do for high school sports in general.
A lot of thanks to John Craig Arsenault from Church Point, Don Gibson at Port Allen, Brandon Brown over at East St. John, and everyone tuning in tonight for Ryan, Danny, Skip, Charlie, Will, Dustin, Coach Black, Coach Roy, and myself. We'll see you next week, Lake After Hours, Lake Urgent Care, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show.
You may not know about the 4 Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard